Back to the Culture Call on Praise 93.3 with L. Spencer Smith. Our desire is to reach and empower the community by discussing a cross-section of relevant topics from various perspectives that are essential to its growth and interpersonal connections. Be sure to save our call-in number, 205-752-4800. Be sure to install the free Praise 93.3 app so you can send L. Spencer Smith a message or topic idea. Search for WTSK in your app store.
This is the world premiere. Great morning, precious people, and welcome to another edition, of the Culture Call. Absolutely. Right here in the place of Tuscaloosa. It's where Tuscaloosa meets the world. Every morning this week, Monday through Friday, we're going to be right here celebrating what is going on in our community. And for the next 2 hours from 10 a.m. to 12 p.m., I'm going to be right here talking to you. You know what we do. Talk about everything from society to sports, education to economics, from religion to relationships. And of course, we are here always to create a safe space to have empowering, provocative, and sometimes controversial conversations. And guess what? You can call in or you can chat it up with me right here as we learn together on the Culture Call. As I do every morning, I will be remiss if I didn't say this, that you can go to your smart device phone. You can go to your Apple device or your Android device, and you can go to the App Store and download our free 99 app, Praise 93.3 FM. And you can do that. And here's what it gives you the opportunity to do. You can listen to us from all around the world. That's right. Our global ability gives you the opportunity to download that app and hear us from wherever you are all around the world, especially if you are in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. That's right. And also, here's what I want you to do. Email me your public service announcements or your events at the Culture Call, praise@gmail.com. Let me get that right before you put the on it. The is not in it. culturecall.praise@gmail.com, and give me an opportunity. That's right, to use my megaphone right here on Praise 93.3 and let everybody know what's happening at your church, in your organization, or your school, your frat, your sorority. Doesn't matter what it is. We want to create traffic and make your event a success. You know why? Because we do it better when we do it together. And of course, listen to this, save this number. Save this number, 205-752-4800. That's 752, 4800. Go ahead and save that number, and you can call into the show and be a part of the conversation. Guess why? Because I want to hear from you. Your voice matters. Yes, you do. Your voice matters. No matter if anybody else is listening to you, guess what? We're listening to you right here on the Culture Call. So do me a favor, sit back and relax. Grab you some coffee, whether it's Maxwell House or Starbucks. Y'all know what I love. That's right, caramel macchiato. You can go ahead and get some tea, chamomile, or some green tea. Get your little caffeine kick, or you can get some alkaline water and energize those cells. That's right. Let's get down to the cellular level on this magnificent Monday and get hydrated, and we can get into the culture. Listen, folks, there is so much going on in the world. This has been a difficult weekend for me, trying to figure out what direction do I take the show into this week? My goodness. I mean, if you look around, I'm talking not only in Tuscaloosa and not only in the state of Alabama, but all around the country. I mean, listen, folks been cutting up. They've been clowning a whole lot. And, you know, one of my assignments is to make sure that I at least bring you up into speed with some cultural events, some topical things that are going on, so we won't be late, last, or lost, and that we will know what's happening on the pulse of both our community and our country. I think that's very important for us to stay aware, you know. And one of the things that I want to do is to always be relevant and always be at the top, man. And I'm telling you, you guys are making this show a hit on the station. And I thank you so much. I cannot I cannot overstate how much I appreciate you and all that you do to make sure that the Culture Call stays on top. Shout out to Brother Jay, who leads me into the 10 o'clock hour with his magnificent morning show. Yeah, and then we come into the Culture Call. Yes, there's some great things happening at Praise 93.3, and it could not happen without our daily listeners. So thank you, and yeah, all the way in the back, especially you, right? We want to thank you for making it happen for us. But yes, there's so many things going on, from the situation with the young lady Carly in Hoover. Yep. And yeah, there's a whole lot going on there. And that I was like, should I talk about that? Because there's a whole lot in that, in terms of subject matter, in terms of all that's going on. There's a whole lot going on in the country, in the state of Florida, trying to rewrite, American history with regards to slavery. And I mean, and Florida is doing it in such a ridiculous fashion, headed by their governor, Ron DeSantis, and some people who are, I mean, desperately, this is the point of desperation. It is what I call desperate arrogance, right? That hinges on, absolute ignorance, the way that they are trying to change, saying that slavery was a benefit to African Americans and to the enslaved people that were brought to this country. Yeah, because they could use it. And it's the trope of trying to make it seem like that, the Africans were ignorant and did not have anything, any kind of skill when they came to this country. And they were taught, they were taught how to pick cotton by their slave owners and the overseers. And they were taught how to farm rice, which is not even indigenous. It's not a native plant to this country, right? That they were taught. So all of the skills that they learned it from this country because, of course, Europeans civilized them, and it is laughable, right? And taught them, and they used it later in life. Man, come on. I said to myself, I'm not of the temperament this week to talk about that. I'm gonna have to pick that back up, though. I'm telling you, and there are people, when you're looking at the polling, there are people that are supporting this man. I mean, it's amazing. It's amazing, which tells us how long we have to go. We have come a long way as a people. Yes, we have, but there's still a tremendous ilk all over this country, predominantly in the South, that still views us through Confederate lens. And so, yeah. And so I was going to talk about that, in piece and parcel, talking about that, talking about, Bidenomics, and how terrible the Democrats are on messaging. Yeah, because they lose race not on methods, they lose races on messaging, that they're not saying anything about how the economy is turning around. And so you allow people in the state, who voted against the infrastructure bill, voted against all the things, to take credit when it actually hits the state. Like, these roads are being done. You see all this construction on the roads that are happening in our city. They didn't happen because our state voted for them. No, we had Republican senators and the predominantly congressmen in Congress that House of Representatives voted against it, and then they want to come and act like, oh, it's a good thing that our state's making roads, like you did that. Come on. But again, Democrats are so terrible on messaging. They are horrible. Let me say that again. Boldface, italicized, red. They are horrible in messaging, even if they have the right method. And people do not care about methods. They care about the messaging that goes along with it, right? So people don't necessarily care who built the road, but they care who spun the narrative. Right. And we could talk about that this week. Man, it's so much. Listen, there's a movie out on Netflix. Look at me. I'm doing current events, right? There's a movie out on Netflix called They Cloned Tyrone. Let me tell you something another. Ma'am, sir, bro, sis, nephew, niece, whatever you want to say. Saints and ain'ts, you need to go and get you a next Netflix subscription, or I don't know, I don't know if we're living in a day where you could try to pirate somebody's password. I don't know how that works. But nonetheless, you need to look at They Cloned Tyrone. I mean, and that goes along with, when you look at it, it goes along with what's going on with Carly as well. See, it's a whole lot. So yeah, there's a whole lot we could talk about. And I'm already preparing my shows for the fall, winter, making sure that we lay it out properly, because there's a whole lot of things that we need to talk about. And but you got to stay here. You got to stay tuned. Call, tell everybody that they need to be checked into the Culture Call. And man, we've got some things to talk to you about. But I'm going to take about 2 days to talk about this subject this morning, because I think it's important for our community. It's important for business. It's important for life structure. And we're living in a new system of life, right? And or with AI coming, AI replacing human labor, human intelligence, human thought. AI, artificial intelligence, is taking over now, and or trying to take over now. And I don't care how much, we preach in our pulpits that, nothing can take away God's creation, called humans in the image of God created him. See, it's all in the front against him. Right. And one of my posters this morning said on my social media, as I try to do every morning. I haven't been doing it a while, but I do it every morning. I try to get it on Facebook or Instagram Live and just kind of tell them what I'm going to be talking about today. And one of the things that one of my followers said, which I think is apropos, that they said that, people are trying to create us in their image and, re-imaging versus God. Like everybody's trying to create man in their own image, in their own thinking, right? We have this tremendous conversation between the trans community and the biological community, and that's an interesting subject of which we're going to broach and we're going to deal with in the future, because I think it's necessary. And if you're like me, I don't view it just as from a perspective of a preacher pastor, but as a person. I was having a brunch yesterday with some friends of mine in my family, and we just kind of surmised that there are some things that should be common sense. We were talking about some situations, and we said that there's some things that should simply be common sense. And one of my sons said, yeah, but common sense everybody ain't got common sense. And I had to lean into that. And I sat back in that statement that everybody does not have the ability to have common sense. I mean, for real, like things that you would think just make sense. A lot of people just don't have that capacity. They overthink or they underthink, right? They overthink a thing out of common sense, or they underthink a thing out of common sense, right? And which says to me that there are people that view the world in different perceptions and perspectives that we have to accommodate. And of course, that's in most conversations. But in America, it trains to dwell in the polar. They're very, very liberal with no restraints and no truths and none of that. And then there is what we call conservative, right? And we can say that, because they're hardened, and a lot of them distort truth as well. And this whole idea of balanced is really far removed from our country. And I don't think that differences of opinion render you to hate somebody or you being phobic. Come on, you're not going to insult me and my intelligence simply because I don't agree with your perspective. But it's difficult to have conversations with people who dwell in the polars. And so, yeah, when I tell you Culture Call, there is a whole lot going on, and we need to know what's going on so we'll know how to apply this to our lives, right? That if I was in my preacher-teacher setting, the text says, when you see all of these things going on, think not that the time of the end has come. So, for everybody like, oh, Jesus couldn't come. No, he's not. That's not even what the text says. The text says that these are just the beginnings of labor, that something is about to be born. Something is about to happen in the world, that they're at the change of government, at the change of generation, at the switching out of age, at the movement and the advancement of human intellect and knowledge. There's always this tendency to replace God. there is always this tendency to exert our intelligence as if our intelligence and our learning is supernatural. There is always this whole idea of a Luciferian context. I will make myself God, or I will think that I am God, or I will think that I am control. Right. And this has happened over the last decade with the promulgation of everybody talking about self-care and self-love and self this and self that. Right. One of the things that we need to understand, and again, I definitely don't want to ever wax preachy on the culture call, but it's my wheelhouse. And so when it applies, I apply it. Whenever we begin to edify and exalt self, this is one of the reasons why he says, if you're going to follow me, you got to kind of deny self. That doesn't mean to not take care of yourself. That doesn't mean to hate yourself. That doesn't mean, that you can't look on yourself, but that just simply means you need to understand that you are not the epicenter of what happens. You are not the epicenter of how the world is viewed. You only view the world how you see the world based upon your environment, your culture, and your community. There are people that see it a different way. And until we learn how to come together and reason together, then guess what? We're going to miss a profound opportunity to learn, to gain true knowledge, and to allow truth to abide, and the truth that will meld us together, will amalgamate us together as one, unify us as one. But right now, don't look for no cracking in the sky, because that's not going to happen. Because that world is too disunified for there to be a return. And from a theological and biblical perspective, the church is too divided in order for there to be any kind of imminent return. So we got a lot of work to do. Listen, so this couple of days, I'm going to be talking about mentorship and coaching, because one of the things I think that's very important, and that need to happen in our communities, in our generation as an individual, is that we've got to learn how to ascribe ourselves to proper teaching, proper learning, a proper educational flow, right? That what we need to know, and the distance between what we know and what we need to know can sometimes be great and cosmic as the Grand Canyon, right? Because we're not necessarily connecting ourselves to proper information and proper flows of knowledge, right? That knowledge only turns into wisdom, number one, when you know it. Number two, when you know how to apply it. And when I say how, but also when to apply it. See, wisdom is not just knowledge, knowing what you know. Wisdom is knowing what you know, how to apply what you know, and when to apply what you know. And a lot of times that only happens through a course of mentorship and coaching, right? That we've got to begin to be interns of those of systems, those people and persons that have an understanding beyond what we currently attend to. Now, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of the widespread of deception and bad instruction that we face in this generation with regards to social media. That anybody can get a camera off of Amazon. Anybody can get a ring light or some theater lights. Anybody can get some lights, again, from your local music store or lighting store. And they can get on camera and they can put up anything. There is nothing that hinders them from putting up anything. And they can market themselves into millions of followers that they lead down a dark hole, right? And so because of that, our generation is put under tremendous strain and duress, because guess what? They simply just do not know how to garner proper information. They don't know how to be taught. And we would think that teachers would do that, but now we're having a situation. And again, I don't want to cause any anxiety or any fright, but the reality is that there are teachers in the school system now that are using the school system to prey on our children as sex objects, right? Or to influence them with perspectives and twisted ideologies. And so we've got to begin to deal with how will we learn? We still have this incessant human need to learn, to discover our surroundings, to know, and because to know is to also be, right? Because out of what I know, those things become reflected in how I be and how I live. Right. And so if we don't have the proper knowledge, or if we're listening to the same people, I think about when I was a child, there was a movie about this evangelist. His name was Jim Jones, and he was a very charismatic, charismatic preacher. And then he went to Guyana, this country, Guyana, and he was teaching and caused all those people to drink Kool-Aid. And that's kind of where we get the saying, oh, they don't drink the Kool-Aid, right? And killed these people, right? This man was, and he was regarded as a teacher back in his day. And what we need now is not to attend ourselves to that kind of teaching. That we don't need to be put in that kind of space and that kind of place, trying to make it seem like that we are people who are so desperate in living in the dark that we are attending and listening to everybody. First of all, I want to say this as we begin to talk about mentorship. It plays a crucial role in your personal and your professional development, right? That you're not going to get very far in this world with just being what they call self-made. Of course, I don't believe in this whole idea of being self-made. Somebody had to help you. Somebody had to shine a light. Somebody had to support you at some given idea. So when I see Forbes put out self-made billionaire, there is no such thing as a self-made billionaire and or millionaire. No, that somebody helped you. Somebody did something for you, right? The seed of greatness is in all of us. But the truth of the matter is that the seed of greatness needs mentorship. The seed of greatness needs cultivation. The seed of greatness needs a tutor to help us break beyond the barriers of just our giftings and our talents and all the things that we bring to the table being in seed form, and they will teach us, and we connected them to see how to break out of the husk and the shell of potential and move into possibility, right? Move into our power, move into this word that I love, our agency. And a lot of times that will not happen if we don't have the proper coach and we don't have the proper mentor to kind of shine the light, to give us the map, the legend, and the key to the journey that we are traveling, right? And again, I believe that, yes, there will be some places of self-discovery. I believe that is important. I believe that it is inherently important that you begin to, yes, have intrinsic or internal inside motivation, that you got to want to be something. But I also believe that connected to that you have to hitch your cart on someone and or something, some organization that's going to give you some mentorship and some coaching. And if that does not happen, you're not going to live up to your fullest potential. And there is nothing as sad as someone who is extremely gifted and extremely intelligent and really has the seed of just taking their lives to the next level, that lives perpetually underneath their potential, simply because they have no person to be what the text says, a governor or a tutor. Right? That there is this young boy that knows how to tap dance. There's this young boy who knows how to be a star in the football, has that greatness in him, that tenacity. There's this young girl who has danced and to be a ballerina and all of that. And they don't have anybody to tutor them. They don't have anybody that can hold them accountable to the seed of greatness in them. They don't have anyone that can life coach them around the pitfalls and teach them the process and the lessons toward promise, right? That there are a lot of underdeveloped talent and skill that the future requires, right? But we will never get there if we think that we can do that all by ourselves, right? And one of the important things that you need to understand is that, yes, All of you who you are, your future, my future, is inside of all of us in seed form. In seed form. Right now. Right now. All of our children. That's why we've got to be careful of the kind of teachers they have. That's why we got to be careful what we say to them. That's why we've got to get back on our job of being parents and not let, PlayStation and Nintendo and social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook be their parents, because we become so busy in the grind of trying to make a living and trying to make all this money to make life comfortable. That doesn't mean anything if we allow our children's greatness to lie dormant within them because we don't provide the proper mentorship, parenthood, or coaching for them. Right? See, every leader, every team player needs a coach, right? And when you are a leader of the team, if you're a quarterback, running back, defensive line, you need a coach. One of the things that make, Bama so great is because of the strategic mind of the coach. Yes, all of those players come from all around the country wanting to play for Nick Saban. And that's a good thing. But do you know why? Not because that the team wins, no, but because Nick Saban has a particular penchant to be able to take that their gifting and their talent, their abilities that they've been working on, and mentor it and coach them to the next level. Not just the next level in the game, but also the next level in life. And you've got to have that. You got to have that, right? There is no Jalen Hurts, and there is no, Bryce Young. There is no Tua. I can't pronounce the last name. Tua. There is none of those. And historically, there is no Mark Ingram. There's none of those people that rise to the level of greatness in their field without someone being a mentor and a coach. Right? I think if you're ever going to be anything great, you got to have a mentor. You got to have a coach. You got to have someone to help you navigate through the process of becoming. Yeah. One of the things that I think that's very, very powerful, and, there's so many life lessons in the text, in the Bible. There's so many. I know there in our community, there's so many, especially the younger generations that say, I don't want to do that. That Bible is a white man's XY. No, listen. I get all of the history of the scriptures. I get all of that. I get how it was derived. I get the changes in the language. I get changes in the translations. That's why, you go to seminary so you can learn about that. Don't just say, I don't like the book, but learn how they changed it so you can see what was in the text originally and what was not, right? The more that I have gone to seminary, the more I see the veracity of the text, the authenticity of the original text and what it says from the true Hebrew and the Greek. I see how the book begins to evolve and come into plain human language as we have it today. But one of the things that Jesus promoted was mentorship. Yes, try it again. One of the great things that he really, really promoted at the initial stages of his ministry on the earth, of his time on the earth, was mentorship. And it goes a little something like this. Follow me, and I will make you fishers of men. Let me say it again. That's mentorship 101. That he found Peter, James, and John, Andrew. He found all of the disciples. He found all of them others working in their respective occupations, doing what they were doing in life. And he made such an impact on their lives. But the invitation was always, follow me. Follow me and become my disciple. Follow me and I will make you. Follow me and allow me to get my hands involved in your life. Because he understood that without mentorship, these men, fishermen, will not one day turn into apostles. That these men who, when he met them, could catch nothing in their net, would one day be those who are the founding fathers of the organization called the Ecclesia, the church. But the way that he did it was he mentored and coached them for 3 years. Yes. Teaching them lessons and processes of their own giftings and their own personalities, their own behaviors. Right? Yeah. It wasn't just kaboom, breathe on you. Here's, you go do miracles. And no, watch my life. Watch what I do. Watch how Watch how people treat greatness because they want greatness until greatness shows up. Yeah. And he said to them, follow me because each and every one of you need a mentor. And if you let me mentor you, I'm going to take your life to eternal levels. Man, we're going to have a great time. Yes, today as we are talking about mentorship and coaching right here on the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith on Praise 93.3 FM. Go ahead and get you some coffee, some tea, drink you a little bit more water, and I need you to keep it right here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
And family, we are back on this magnificent Monday right here on the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith, Praise 93.3 FM. And it is a beautiful day. It's supposed to be a hot one too. So I hope that you all are making sure that you're getting your hydration in and start early in the morning. Yeah. And have your sunscreen on if you got to be outside. And yeah, we're going to have a great day. It's a magnificent Monday, but I want you to be safe indeed. Listen. We're having an amazing conversation. I wanted to start off with our centering moment this morning, just kind of telling you all the things that we are thinking about and preparing on the Culture Call, but also to segue into this interesting idea of mentorship and the necessity of mentorship. I understand that we are living in a season, in a generation that is focusing primarily on what I got to do for me, what's for me, and for me. And I'm not, please understand when I say that, I say this with a tremendous balance, and I say this with tremendous self-awareness that the ways and the keys to make the most and to realize the maximum benefit of who you are in the world is to try not to do everything by yourself and on your own. That life has, inextricably assigned us to people and to places that will mentor us and help us get to the next level of life and the next level of living, right? And one of those skill sets is to be able to submit. Yeah. See, the order of life and the order of your personal and professional development will require you to come into the order of submission. And what I tell people is when we're talking about submission, we're talking about the acknowledgement and of your power, of your genius, of the seed that's in you, that I have a gift. Yes, I have a gift. I am self-aware that I have a gift and a talent. But submission suggests that although I have this power of my gift and my talent, that I've got to search out someone who is ahead of me or who is in the same field of me, doing greater than me and have more experience than me. And watch this. And they not necessarily have the person on the stage. They may not be the biggest person, the biggest name and all those different kinds of things. It might be the person assigned to you to be able to move you to the next level of your life development and in your career. And I think that's very important. And in the last segment, we just talked about, from a biblical example of a life example, when Jesus said to the disciples, to those fishermen, to the tax collector and to all of those who were, a part of that world, follow me. Let me be your mentor. Right? Let me be your mentor. He wasn't their savior when he first met them. Try it again. That he was not their savior when he first met them. He had not gone to the cross. So he was not their savior. So when he first met them, he met them in the context of mentorship. He was at best their pastor, for the lack of a better word, but he wasn't their savior until after Calvary. Until after the cross. And I use that example because, again, that pattern of life, that if I see inside of you, you're going to be a fisher of men, then I need to mentor you, or you need to have mentorship to move you to the next level of fishing. Okay, so you know how to fish for fish, but how do you fish for men? Right? And a mentor will teach you how to take what you have in seed form and the genius of who you are and connect it to a level of wisdom that will cause you to take what you do organically, naturally, and to the next level. so that you can reach more people and that you can reach the world, right? And I think that's very important, very important. There's so many life lessons that we could teach there, right? That Peter, let down your net on the other side, right? And your nets. And Peter, the text says he caught a great multitude of fish, different kind of fish, right? Well, that was important because symbolically on the day after Pentecost, he caught a great multitude of fish. People were there from all around the world, right? Heard them, right? And so you never know what mentorship is going to provide. First of all, mentorship provides an elevation in your skill development. Your skill development, right? Now I know that Joe Jackson was Michael Jackson's father biologically, but he was also his mentor, James Brown, Diana Ross, right? Because of the entertainment, the industry that he was a part of, right? They had a hand in developing the genius of Michael Jackson, right? And so when you begin to look at all of the level of development, the level, further on in his career, Quincy Jones, Sylvia Rhone, all those people who took that gift and presented it in a different posture to the world, right? That no one gets to the next level of their skill without some level of mentors, because mentors and coaches provide you with the support and the opportunity and the guidance to help you develop that skill set and the knowledge. And watch this. And along the way, the wisdom, because you don't do everything on every platform. Every dance step you can do, every song you can sing, every word you can preach, every this and that, whatever your skill set may and or may not be, is not for every room that you will be afforded to going into. So you have to learn wisdom. You have to develop that skill. You have to know, make it better. You can't just play in C, G, and F. You got to learn how to play in the keys you don't like to play in, the B, the A, the D, and the E. Yeah, you got to learn how to play in all of those keys, because you never know. You can't just play bump. You know how my grandmama said that bump to bump music. You got to learn some hymns. You got to learn some hymns. That's my thing with musicians today. You know how to play all this fancy stuff, contemporary stuff, right? But you're aging out a generation that also wants, to enjoy the worship experience. So therefore, you need to learn Amazing Grace. You need to learn Blessed Assurance. You need to learn Father, I Stretch My Hands to Thee. You need to learn Blessed Quietness. You need to learn those things, right? God specializes, right? Because everything will not always be Kirk Franklin. Everything will not always be Ty Tribbett. You need to learn some of those things. And that can only happen when you sit up under a mentor. That's what I did. When I was a musician, I had to sit up under a mentor that taught me how to play. There was a certain type of thing to play. And, as a young musician, you would like to do little riffs on your hands and all that. And he's like, no, this song doesn't require that. Don't apply that to this song. You just taking this hymn out of context. You taking Nearer My God to Thee to the jazz club. And there's going to be somebody that can't relate. And so what they did, that mentor broadened the context of, broadened the context of how I played and where I could play. And so not only could I play in my church, my little Pentecostal sanctified church, but I could go to the Baptist church. I could go to the Methodist church. I could go to any kind of church and play, because I had a mentor that stopped me, that developed my skill and said, no, that's not what you do there. They don't like that there. Do it like this, play it there. Teach me how to play organ. Michael Fields, the late Michael Fields, and in Charleston, South Carolina, taught me and said, hey, no, don't play that like that. Don't do it like that. Play it like that. Play it simple. Play it simple. We come this far by faith. Play it simple, right? Right? And so that was very important. Then when I got to school to learn, I had another teacher, Miss Nina Nelson. And she would say, okay, here's how you play this. And here's how you sing this. You don't put this gospel riff over when you're singing this jazz tune. Not this song. No, this is a jazz standard. You sing it as written. Yeah. And she taught me how to read the notes on the scale with my voice. Now, I could play it on my saxophone, I could play it on the piano, but I didn't know how to read notes with my voice, right? And she began to teach me the same practical skills and mentor me. And whenever I did something wrong, she'd be like, nah, that's not it. That's not it. That was a nice little church run, but guess what? You're not in. You're not in church. You're on the school stage, right? You're getting ready to go to contest. And the contest is going to judge you on what's on the paper, not on your skill set, not on your talent. They're not going to judge you on those runs, sir. They're not going to do that. So you can go ahead and try to do it if you want to, but they're going to fail you when it gets to contests, when it's time for those festivals. You're not going to win. It's not going to work right. It's just not going to happen correctly, right? You're not going to get the superiors that you deserve, that I know you can get, because you don't have the wisdom for your skill. And see, that's why you need a mentor. Somebody that will say I'm glad you're doing it. Now let me show you how to apply it over certain places, right? That if you specialize in doing a thing, you need somebody to say, okay, let's take this to the next level. Have you perfected this yet? Right? When I got in college, Dr. John Daniels, which was my saxophone professor, instructor, he's like, okay, here's the deal. Don't bring that marching band stuff over here into this. Don't do that. That's not what you're doing. This is not a solo on a concert. There are actual notes on this paper. Well, marching band with Dr. Foster was the same way. And discipline yourself. See, that's a part of the skill development, that you have to discipline yourself. And that's why you need a mentor, somebody that's going to instruct you and hold you accountable to the stages that they know are in your future. Man, that was good, right? You need somebody that's going to instruct you and hold you accountable for the stages that they know will be in your future. So a lot of times a mentor and a coach, they are not looking for what you can do right now. Their assignment is to take what you do right now and put it on another stage in the future and help you get there. Discipline you every day to help you get to that big stage, to that big place. They rehearse you, they practice you, they call you, and they say, okay, tell me what today is about. Tell me, why did you put that in that cake? Tell me why you let it stay in the oven that long. Tell me why you did that. There's a better way to do that. Don't do that. Right? And if you're one of those people that you can't tell nothing and you don't like for people to tell you anything, yeah, you and a mentor, you really, really need a mentor. Let me just put it like that. You really, really need a mentor to kind of say, hey, I don't think you should be doing it like that. See, we've got a generation that needs mentorship, that desires mentorship. However, one of the things that need be understood is that the mentor is not designed to always agree with you. The mentor is to take what you have and develop it to the next level. They'll share insights, they'll share experiences, and they'll provide constructive criticism and feedback, giving you solutions that you didn't think about so that you can improve your ability, right? See, that's important. But while they're doing that, the other reason why I believe that we all need mentorship, everybody. I have mentors as a pastor, as a preacher, as a musician, as an artist. I have mentors. I have had mentors. And I'm in my early 50s, but I still have mentors that I look up to. God bless, some of them are still alive. Some of them, there are preachers that I listen to, that I still talk to, that I hear and pick their brains, right? And see, this is not about age. This is about stage. Try it again. That mentorship is not always about age. It's about stage. It's about, if I'm starting out doing something, that somebody that knows how to do it better than me, I'm older than Tiger Woods. But if I started playing golf and he offers to be my mentor, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to humble my 50-plus-year-old self, and I'm going to be a teenager. Because, listen, he's the greatest golf player on the face of the planet. So then why would I not do that? Why would I do that? LeBron James, if I wanted to play basketball, Yeah. And there's a LeBron James mentorship open up, right? They don't have to be somebody older than me. No, LeBron James knows how to play. Michael Jordan knows how to play. Michael Jordan's older than me, though. Yeah, that part. Right? But you get the principle. That mentorship is not always about age. It's about stage of life. It's about stage of life. Let me say it again. It's about stage of life. And if you miss that, if you miss it, then you're going to miss a very productive opportunity. Because another thing that a mentor does, it helps you grow in your personal evolution. They are responsible also for your personal growth. Right. That they can identify your SWOT analysis. SWOT, SWOT, yeah. Your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities, and your threats. They can help you develop in those areas to enhance your own self-awareness. Yeah, to get in touch with your emotional intelligence. Yeah, to how you can appropriately and properly apply yourself to every situation. You hear me, Culture Call? Because there is nothing worse, again, in looking at a generation or looking at a person that has so much tremendous potential, but they won't come up under leadership. They won't come up under mentorship. They won't get themselves a coach. Yeah, that's not that they won't do it. They will not, because they're so busy working on a testimony of how they did it my way. I did it by myself. Listen, when achievement is pending in your future, that false narrative of self-madeness should be secondary. Put it to the side and find you somebody that can help you get to the next level, that can challenge you, that can challenge your challenges. Yeah, that can challenge your challenges. That there are some challenges that you have in your life that are not going to change until you meet somebody who is going to challenge your challenges and give you a solution context and bring you into answer perspective. And not just let you stay there and be the you that you think you should be. No, they're going to say, well, no, let me challenge that about that. Let me challenge that in you. Yeah, I had a band director who was like, yeah, let me challenge that right there. You know, let me challenge that particular thought. Let me challenge that particular perspective. Right? Tell me, I'm not going to tell you what to do yet, but just tell me why you did what you did. Tell me why you made that choice. Yeah. They help you grow on a very real and personal level. Your challenges need to be challenged so that you can become better at doing and being who you are and doing what you do. Absolutely. Listen, this is the Culture Call. Y'all know what it is. This is Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3 on this magnificent Monday. I tell you, we've got so much in store for you. Get your drink of water and keep it here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
And family, we are back. It's the top of the hour, 11 a.m. and some change right here on the Culture Call with Spencer Smith on Praise 93.3 FM. What a beautiful, magnificent Monday it is. And it is my prayer that if you're just tuning in with us, that you're having a beautiful, blessed morning and you're stretching out and you're having a great day already, that you're treating yourself real nice. Yeah, giving yourself a chance. Grace and mercy every morning, right? To have a wonderful, wonderful day. We've been having an amazing conversation already here on the Culture Call concerning mentorship and coaching, next level learning. And I just want to always encourage those of you who are listening and being a part of the Culture Call that you can definitely, give me a call. And you can hit me up, on the phones, 205-752-4800, or on the chat, via the chat, right here that you should have downloaded on your phone by now. And yes, I said that with much attitude. Yes, indeed. Download it on your phone and you can talk to me there. And you can let me know what you think about what we're talking about, right? Especially today as we're talking about mentorship. We're talking about, some of the things that mentors provide for our lives. And it's, one with skill development. They perfect us and help us, manage and become accountable to our gifting, our practices, and, finding out our techniques, helping us to discover our methods and methodologies in which we will use, right? And then, of course, they deal with our personal growth. What are we becoming as we are doing? And I think that's important because that connection, they are connected. Who I be is also what I do. And also, I need to know when to disconnect it. Sometimes I don't need to do anything because I am busy being, right? Right? I'm busy being. And then sometimes I've got to set aside the issues of my being and just do what I know to do because I have a service to provide. Mentors help us learn how to both connect and disconnect sometimes because in some places it's hard to decipher that. It's hard to, know when and what to be and who to be, and what to do and, and when to do it. And I think mentors help us because they keep us accountable to that particular, faction in life, right? And another thing that, I think mentors do is they provide a knowledge transfer. There is a knowledge transfer that is so important. Let me say that again. That knowledge transfer is so very, very important to what a mentee does, right? I do not care how young and or old you are. And I say this perhaps for my older folks, there is always something you can learn. Always. There is always something that you can learn. You can learn it from, your older people, your peers. You can learn it from, a leader, but you can learn it from children, a generation that's younger than you, and, and that's something important because that mentorship coach position gives you the opportunity to possess valuable knowledge and experience, that they pass along. If you don't know, guess what? You just don't know. If you don't know how to do a thing, you just don't know how to do a thing. And I learned that from my dad and my mom. I was their pastor and their leader for, the latter part of their lives for years. And, they would always tell me, man, you taught us something today. Being your member. And when they would say that, I'm like, yo, but yeah, you mom and dad. No, to them, they were like, no. I'm sitting there and you're teaching me something and I'm studying it out. And they would tell me how they studied it out and all that kind of stuff and X, Y, Z. What did you say in your notes today? I missed that. X, Y. It was just that kind of thing. And so it didn't matter. It didn't matter how young and or old I was. Yeah. That in this particular area of life, I was their pastor, mentor, their coach, their leader. Right. And so through mentorship, individuals, we can gain insight into, some industry specific practices. One of my mentors, my musical mentor, Donald Lawrence, that Donald became my musical mentor, back in 94, 95. Yeah. 94, 95, maybe 96. Yeah. In that area. And he taught me so much that has preserved me in that harsh gospel music industry. What you say, gospel? That's exactly what I said, because at the beginning and the end of the day, it is an industry. That was one of the first lessons that he taught me. He said, L, you love to write and you love to sing and you love to play and you can do them all proficiently. The first thing he told me is I asked him to produce my group, Higher Ground at the time. And he was like, no, I'm not producing your record. I was like, wait a minute. You just said I'm XYZ. He says, no, I'm not producing your record. And here's what he said. You don't need me to. He said, everything about a producer and a production is inside of you. And if I do this, if I produced your group, that seed will never come out of you. So you go and do XYZ, do the ABC. You make sure. He gave me all of these tips, and I mean, in my mind, and I started applying that. I started applying that to every musical entity that I did. And what happened? It went to another level. He was the first person, other than Twinkie Clark, that gave me, an opportunity. And actually that was Donald as well, because he selected the songs, he and Twinkie, and gave me as a songwriter. The first time on a professional level, Donald called me and said, "Hey, I think you're ready to go professional. I got this group that I'm working on, the new group they're coming out on Malico, and I need you to write on that record." I said, "Well, who is it?" They're called Men of Standard. Yeah, they're called Men of Standard. I was like, okay, no problem. And I had known Isaac and Lowell singing with John P. Key in New Life for years from the Carolinas, because that's where I'm from. But they were putting together this new group, and they needed a song. And I sent them one song, and the song was called Yeah, Yeah. Donald hit me back up and said, "You got it. You understand what the industry is about. You understand what the sound I'm capturing." And I was like, that coming from my mentor was amazing, because he would work with me and perfecting my skill in that area. Right? How to develop my sound. Here's what else. He helped me in industry understanding. He's like, okay, listen, this is the industry. So number one, your music is how you make your money. And he was like, I want you to understand it. Told me what books to go read. There's a book called The Business of Music. He said, go read that book. Taught me about royalties and PROs, writing organizations. Publishers' rights organizations, right? He taught me about BMI, ASCAP, CSAC, all of those, Harry Fox agency, all of those things. And he says, listen, okay, when they come to you, here is what you do. When you look at the contract, here is how you do that. Don't be so excited to give your song and have your song played that you give away all your money-making ability simply because your song is on a record. No. When your song is hot, here's what he told me. He's like, when your song is hot, the hot song, right? They're not going to come with we're going to take 100%. He's going to say, we're going to take 50%. We're going to do X, Y, Z. He says, absolutely not. They didn't write the song. Tell them take the song off the record. Because here's what I do. He said, here's what you need to understand. They would have never recorded it if it wasn't a hot song. Do you know how many songs these people get? Yeah. And for them to want to put your song on their record tells you that it's a hot song. When they say that, it's already recorded. They ain't waiting to record it. And see, me, I'm thinking like, they haven't recorded the song yet. It's negotiable, and I really want my song on this record because I want to be able to tell people I got a song on this record. I got a song on that record. He's like, no, get over that. He says, that's when you're a newbie. That's when you're young. He said, but no, I'm going to navigate you around all of that. He says, now, never share your publishing with anybody. Okay, here's the deal. Because some of y'all, I know you might. Publishing is how songwriters really make their music. And publishing is just really when the song is played on the radio, not when the record is sold. That's a different rate. But when it's played on the radio, that's a different kind of rate that they get, right? That's a publishing royalty and a mechanical royalty. Mechanical is when they sell a record. Publishing is when it is played on the radio or any kind of, when they hear it on the elevators and airplanes and all that kind of stuff, right? And there are two different ways to collect money. And I'm teaching all, right? So I need to teach songwriters this, right? And so mechanicals is when they got to sell the record for you to get your money. That's from one source, right? But the publishing royalty is when your writers organization collects it from the radio stations and all these other things, and they collect your money and they distribute your check. If you have divided your money, the record company takes that money, splits your money, takes it for themselves, and they've not really done anything. He says, no, if your song is hot, if you believe in your songwriting, you believe in your artistry and what you do not ever give them any of your money, because that's money that your children will have. When he said that's money my children have, listen, I have kept that lesson from my early 20s all the way to now. Right? He said, no, your children will inherit your intellectual property. Right? See, but without a mentor, without a coach, there are many people who say, write this song. And then when I got that, he said, walk away from it. I was like, but this is XYZ person. I would call some names, and you would know. He's like, no, walk away from it. That's not a good deal. That's not a good deal. He said, no, walk away from it. And I'm glad that I did. I'm glad I walked. See, because what mentorship does, it teaches you how not to, y'all get this, because you might need this. If you don't get anything else, I say, mentorship teaches you how not to waste yourself. Ooh-wee. How my wife would say it, OMG. Mentorship teaches you how not to waste yourself. Right? There are a lot of shysters, a lot of schemy people. That's what I started off this broadcast with, that there are, especially in this hour, many people hit me up in my DM. Hey, I'm looking at your Instagram, and man, we can take it to the next level. And then you keep reading, but it's going to cost me this. And then you go to their Instagram page and they got 10 followers. Why would I trust you, who ain't got but 10 followers, to show me how to get 1 million? Huh? Why would I do that? See, because the preponderance of information is what people want. But that's not what you don't need more information. You need someone who is skilled in the area of that industry or that place or that thing, and say, hey, here's what I need you to do. Here's what you need to, here's what you don't need to do. No. And that's what Donald Lawrence taught me. That's what he taught me. It's just like, hey, and it keeps resounding in my mind. Make your group practice. Make sure you get the best producers who know their skill, who know their craft. Right? And even today, before I release a song or a record, I send it to Donald so that he can hear it. I mean, he's Grammy winner. He's Stellar Award winner. He's Dove Award winner. So why would I? I have access to him, right? Right? And I remember one time I did not. And he said, he called me. I was standing on my back porch and my back deck. And he called me and said, okay, see, you didn't call me on this song that you just released the radio. And I heard the whole record. And this is not the song I would have told you to pick. I would have told you to pick this song. I was like, oh man, okay. He said, why? Here's what it is. He says, this the opening of it. This is where the music of the church is going, more of a praise and worship type situation and all that. He said, you released the song because, number one, this is a personal song, XYZ, ABC. And I was like, you're exactly right. He said, yeah, but that's where gospel music has been. But this song is where gospel music is getting ready to go. And I tell you, in the next 5 years, this is where it is. And my God, was not he right? I kick myself even today because I did not, the one time. And here's what he said. He says, you have access to me. I'm one of the top producers in gospel music. So, if you have access to me and I'm your mentor indeed, you don't release no record and release nothing to radio and you don't let me hear it first. Get me to weigh in on it, because I can tell you what you need to go back and do. I can go tell you what they need to cut again, what you need to sing better, what you need to XYZ, ABC. I learned my lesson. See, that's the value of having a mentor and a coach, someone who you can benefit from their ears, their knowledge, that would took years for him to learn. He can give me in a telephone conversation, in a 30-minute telephone conversation. It took him 30 years to learn it. When he was working with Stephanie Mills and In Vogue and all those other kind of people, developing his craft, right? Over those years, he taught me in a 30-minute conversation, I can learn 30 years of wisdom. That's why you need a mentor. That's why you need a coach, right? I always tell when I'm up preaching or teaching, I tell my church that what it took me weeks and months and years to learn, you're learning it in a matter of 45 minutes. Yeah. Right. I took it out. I took all of that. Now you're getting it encapsulated. And some people don't know that. They don't understand the value of that. The knowledge transfer that you receive from a mentor will help you avoid mistakes. And the greatest mistake is wasting you. Yes, that's the greatest mistake that you can make. And that is wasting yourself. Do not waste yourself. Let me say that again. Do not waste yourself on unnecessary things. Yeah, don't do it. Absolutely not. Because you're gonna, and then here it is. Once you waste yourself, you're gonna get very disconcerted. You're gonna be like, oh, I don't want to do this anymore because it's not working. I don't want to do this anymore because people are not paying attention to me. You know, all these excuses that we can give. When in fact, you wouldn't have never had to go through that had you had somebody to say, don't do that. Right? Because listen, think about it. Let me just go back to the Donald Lawrence situation. Because had I given, all of my publishing to these people, I would be making no royalties. And I would be kicking myself today. Mad. Hot fired mad. Upset. That every time you hear my song on the radio, every time somebody buys a record, every time it's played on a plane, on an elevator, a restaurant, every time somebody else would have been getting it. What? Oh my goodness. But without a mentor, I would not have known that. I wouldn't have known it because there it is. I was so ignorant in the light of my gift that I didn't understand that my gift could open doors for me. My gift will make room for me and bring me before men, great men. That's what the text says, great men. But that great men have a particular way they do things. See, great men doesn't mean that they're integral men. Great men doesn't mean that they're men that are there to look out for your benefit. No, great men just means that they're great. You have to learn how to navigate in that space. And only way that you can do that is you're going to keep failing until you learn a lesson. And that's going to promote bitterness and madness and anger and strife in your whole world. Or you can get a mentor who has sat in the room and already dealt with those great men. And they can come back and say, don't fool with that one. They're great indeed, but don't do that. That's not a good deal. They're wonderful indeed, but don't go there. Absolutely. And I apply that to every area of my life. Yeah. And that's so important. You have to have a learning curve. You have to have a learning curve. And that's what your mentors give you. They give you and show you how to adjust in the learning curve, right? And how to avoid common pitfalls. Common pitfalls. How did you get here? That's not what I told you to do. Absolutely not. Listen, mentorship also provides accountability and motivation because sometimes you and I need a kick in the tail. We don't just need a push, we need a kick. And that's what mentors do. Listen, I was dealing with a preaching mentor of mine and I was like, yo, man, he was like, listen, I don't want to hear that. He said, you one of the greatest preachers I've ever heard, but you're really acting weak right now. I was like, wait, hold it. I was like, yo, I'm just having a bad day. No, you cannot afford to have a bad day now. You're in a stride. You got to hit it. And I'm going off about things going on in my personal life, my emotional life, my church life. And I'm giving him 50 million reasons why I need to go on vacation and I need to disconnect. He said that would be the most unwise thing that you would ever do. You don't need to give up right now. Do not. You need to mash the gas and keep going forward. This is the season to not let them see you sweat. And I mean, he said some other words too. he said some interesting expletives to move me out of that rut because I was just grief, despair, and agony on me. And I was like, yo, I respect this dude, but he was just going in. He's like, no, you cannot. Reverend, you got to get up. Okay. I'm like, look, man, I need a vacation. I want to go to Jamaica. I want to go to Vegas. I want to listen. And I spent that Vegas a while. It's like, no, sir. If you go on vacation at the wrong time, if you don't time vacation properly, you're going to miss the momentum of the season that you're in. So here's what he said. Suck it up, buttercup. Right? He's like, suck it up, doc. You got to suck it up and press through. Press through. He was holding me accountable. He's like, to my season. He was holding me accountable to the growth that we were experiencing. He was holding me accountable to the gifting that I had to minister and to move. He's like, no, if you cancel this now, no, it'll never work. And don't worry about who's participating. Don't worry about who's showing up. Don't worry about that yet. Don't worry about that. Keep pushing forward. And that saved me from a whole derailment. And then I had another mentor of mine, my pastor, my bishop, that came down after I preached my mother's funeral, which drained me immensely. And that was the hardest sermon that I have ever had to do. My parents, eulogies. And that, I try to remember when I preach, but those are the two I really want to forget. That sometimes I relive it over in my mind over and over again. And of course, you could understand why I would want to forget it. It was just really emotional. And after I finished, I remember kneeling down in the seat. My bishop came and whispered to me. No, I said to him, I don't have anything left. He says, I know. Disconnect. He's like, don't just disconnect. He said, I knew I could see it. I could see it when you did that. Disconnect. And he encouraged me. He said, because one of the problems is that when you are a pastor or a preacher or whatever you do, that you're thinking that you're going to push through it. He said, no, be a son, be your mama's baby, be with your brothers, be with your wife and your family, grieve, take time to grieve, take time to mourn. Take you a couple of months off. Don't worry about them. If it crumbles because you took 2 months off grieving your mother, then that church should not stand. It should not be on the face of the planet. Take away. And I mean, it was, I followed what he said and disconnected. And that was the thing that helped me move beyond that moment. Right? On one season, I had one mentor that said, you better not quit. And another season, I had another mentor that I submitted to that says, disconnect from everything. See, you need it. You need those mentors and those coaches in your season because they're looking at the long haul. They're looking at the long term, and if you're not paying attention, because a lot of times we're not really paying attention to ourselves, but that's what a mentor does. They pay attention to us from a distance. They pay attention to us. And there was someone that wanted to invite me that my mentor was sitting on the team, and they said, well, I tell you what, I put him on mandatory arrest. His mom just died. He's still recovering from that. And so let's find somebody else because he will not be there. He's not coming. Don't even invite him. Don't put that kind of pressure on him. He stood up for me even in my absence. You see, this is why I keep trying to tell y'all, you need a mentor. Oh, I'm convinced. I am convinced why I need one. Absolutely. I am convinced why I need mentorship. It just, my life just goes and flows that way. But yeah, when you really find that person who is divinely connected to your development, when you find that person who has a map, a legend, and a key for you, then you will submit to their voice, to their coaching, to their instruction, right? I always tell my church the anointing is in the instruction. The power of what you need is in the instructions you obey. You unlock that power through obedience. And I am so grateful that I did and not being my regular, normal caricature self. You remember I told you a little bit before, Culture Call, that you need people who tell you to connect your be and your do, right? That they can flow consistently together. But then you need other people, or you need those same people to be able to see over your life and say, yeah, okay, this is a season where you got to put your be on the back burner and just do what you do because you're in a different season. You're effective at what you do. Get a therapist for who you be, but don't let that compromise you. Or they'll say, yeah, you need to focus on who you are. Just so take a back seat, take a vacation. Don't do this. Step off the stage for a minute. Take a vacation for a minute. Go see a therapist for a minute. Go be with your family for a minute. Go be with your wife for a minute. Yeah, go take Right. Because what's more important right now is your B. But that mentor and that coach will look at your life and begin to help you govern and guide you through the seasons that you are in. Talk in here, L. Talk now. Help the people. I'm trying. I'm trying. Hear me. This is why you need mentorship. This is why you need it. This is why you need it. So that you won't miss a season, any season, and that every season that you're in, you can what? Apply wisdom to the season that you're in. There are so many people that are living void of proper application of knowledge because they don't have a mentor and a coach that says, hey, I've been looking at you from a distance. I'm watching what you're doing. And here is where I see you doing things wrong. Here's where I see you you need to do things differently. I have friends who I surround myself with, and we are good friends. I'm older than them. Some of them are older. Some of them are younger than me. And they mentor me in certain areas of their success. They say, hey, I see this in you. You know, I have a wonderful frat brother, LeBaron Hedgeman down in Meridian, Mississippi. He looked at me and he said, hey, this is what I want to do. I'm assigned for you. When you get ready to do this, call me because I'm going to walk you through. And did I get arrogant? Man, I'm older than you. I know what to do. I'm like, no, because he's achieved a level of success in what he's doing that I want to replicate, that I want to have in my life. So I need him to mentor and or coach me through this season. Absolutely. And so, see, arrogance will get you imprisoned in your ignorance. Let me say that again, because that was gooder than good. So I guess I will say it again. Your arrogance will get you imprisoned in your ignorance, right? Because nobody can tell you nothing. Nobody, and nobody can say nothing to you. Call what you call. Don't be that kind of person. And if you are that kind of person, let this be your wake-up call, ma'am. Let this be your wake-up call, sir, to reverse. I'm talking about reverse. Draw to reverse, right? We're playing Uno now. Get out of that. Get out of that mindset. Don't allow your pride and your arrogance to make you be imprisoned in your ignorance and you walk in darkness and you miss out of the greatness of the platforms and potentials that you could have, the great possibilities that have been assigned to your life simply because you don't know how to humble yourself under mentorship and under life coaching. Yeah, absolutely. That's why I get up on Monday through Fridays from 10 to 12. To at least be a mentor or a life coach to you, right? So that you will not come behind in any good thing. Absolutely. Holding you accountable to your greatness. Listen, this is the Coach Call with L. Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3. It's a wonderful day. We're having a wonderful day. Got more to come, but go ahead. Stay right here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
And family, we are back right here on the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith on Praise 93.3 FM. And it has been a wonderful, magnificent Monday. What a conversation we are having. What a conversation we are having. And I'm telling you, it's just been a good day. Yeah, just been a good day. I want to apologize to some of you who've been calling me. I was on the wrong interface and they just came in and was like, yo, you're not seeing our messages? Absolutely not. So it's my fault. That's my fault. So it's not that I was ignoring you. I just didn't know you were calling. But shout out to all of you all who were calling me. You can call me tomorrow and we can talk about this because I'm going to be talking about more about mentorship and a little bit about the negative side of it and how we can locate a mentor, how we can locate, what if you need one and you just don't have one? How do I do that? What's the process of that? And there is a process because again, I just do not believe, I don't believe that, number one, I believe that in this season of so many people, man, anybody can hook up a phone. And I keep telling you to do a podcast, to say they're a life coach, to, rent out some space, charge you $150 and say they're going to be your mentor. And yeah, these people have no life experience. They're literally trying their pseudo knowledge and intellect out on you, and you've paid all this money and they jack up your lives, right? And so there has to be a level of pursuit, a level of intimacy, a level of parity, a level of connection there. and not just connection by what I see in them, but they have to have some kind of intuitive insight into what's going on with me, right? That, my mentors have seen me perform over the years, and we've sat down. I have access to them. I didn't even pay any money to have them mentor me, because to me that's kind of suspect, that there was a pure relationship, a relationship of respect, a relationship of honor, a relationship that released revelation, that they really had the desire to see me grow and to do better. And I think that was very important and very healthy as I was, trying to figure out what kind of mentor I needed, what kind of mentor I desired, right? I think that is so very, very important. And, when you don't have that, when you really need a mentor, see, I open myself up to mentorship to specific people because I am very, very serious. When it comes to mentorship, I am very clear. I am very plain. I am very honest. I'm a very compassionate person, but I am one of those, I mentor like I was mentored. What does that mean? That I tell the truth, and yes, I know how to look and deep beyond, and I'm very investigative. So yeah, if you don't like people to ask you any questions and hold you accountable to things, then I'm not the one. I'm definitely I'm not the one. There were artists and singers that wanted me to mentor them, and I'm like, I don't know if you're ready for that level of accountability yet. I really don't know. And then somebody just didn't have a connection. I didn't like the direction in which they viewed their gift. I didn't like that. I just didn't, the language, I knew it was going to be a difficult situation that I was going to be able, I would rather you ask me advice. I would rather you, pay a registration fee and let me just do a master class and give you some knowledgeable tips, give you a handout that you can utilize. But when you say mentorship, I bring you into my space. I begin to share space with you, right? I begin to share time with you. And of course, you and I know that time doesn't go backwards. We can't get our time back. And so I'm very, very, I'm very, very guarded with who I give my time to, because, my time, I'm going to share my experiences. I'm going to be there listening. I don't like to waste time, and you only have about 5 minutes to pity party with me. Then we're going to come into solution orientation. That's me as a mentor. You're going to come to me. I'm like, okay, all right. Did you just want me to hear this? Or did you want me to help you? Do you want rehearsal or do you want reversal? Do you want to walk down the road to see how to get this done, or, X, Y, Z, ABC? And so, I think mentorship is something that I value. I was talking to, what was I doing? Bible study. And I was just saying, hey, let me be real with you, that I hold, when you say that you become a part of our church or our ministry or, my mentorship group, I hold that very dear and seriously to my life, because, from where I've been taught in the text, you say I have to give an answer for you. I have to give an answer for how I treated you, how I fed you, how I took care of you, and I've got to give an account for how you respond to that. And I take that very, very, very seriously. And, when you want God just favored me to have some wonderful mentors in my life, and I named just a few: Donna Lawrence, Twinkie Clark, Marvin Sapp, all those people, and Ralph Dennis, all these people in my life that mentored me through certain areas. I could name some. You don't even know these people, don't even have a clue of who they are, but I would not be where I am without these people. And at every level, I had to learn how to submit my gift. I had to learn how to submit my talent. And when everybody else was impressed with who I was and what I brought to the table, these people were like, yeah, okay, I mean, you're marginal at best. Wow, really? Yeah, I mean, they weren't people who were impressed with me at all. They were not impressed at all. And that was good. Because what they wanted to make sure is that my arrogance did not imprison me in my ignorance, and that I would have an opportunity to learn from them. That I could not learn if I thought I knew just as much as them. There was no way that I could learn if I thought that, hey, that I don't need this XYZ ABC. I don't know. I'm like, wait a minute, really? And so that's something very important. That is something very important that you and I need to definitely learn, so that we won't be a people that just out here doing things with the potential of greatness and the possibility of really touching the world with what we have. That we never arrive at that level because we never got the proper guidance and the proper mentorship and the proper coaching that we needed. And so, mentorship is very intimate, right? Because one of the things that mentors do, that they break arrogance and they build the confidence. If you are writing this down, this is good. I think I'm going to put this on my Facebook page, right? That one of the things that mentorship does is that they break arrogance and they build confidence. They have to break arrogance because the arrogance, to some people, arrogance and confidence are defined a lot the same. Some people don't know how to discern the difference between arrogance and confidence, right? And I found that to be very true. Very, very true. That there are some people that was like, oh, he's so arrogant, he's so arrogant, he's so arrogant. And I'm like, no, because arrogance causes you to not listen to anybody, to make you think you're better than other people. You don't empower anybody. Everybody's subservient to you. You look down on people. You castigate them. That arrogance gives you a particular, air that, I can't associate X, Y, Z, ABC. No, that's arrogance. Confidence, however, on the other side, is because I know who I am. I can empower anybody around me. I can support anybody around me. I want to be truthful, like, yeah, you stuck up the joint, dude. That's just not, that wasn't good. You just didn't sound well. Or you didn't, go back and try it again. Confidence walks in a room and says, okay, where do I fit? What's missing? Confidence walks in the room and sees I can empower the team and everybody so we can get accomplished. Arrogance walks in there and tries to diminish everybody in the room because they want to be the big fish in the little pond, right? And so some people, and here's the deal. It can look the same depending on the setting. Arrogance and confidence can look the same, but it betrays itself in its communication. It betrays itself in its language, right? So then it will speak something and will say something that will like, yo, and you're like, no, I don't feel empowered there. I don't feel like no, that's just not it. And so I think when we look at it from that perspective, when we look at it from that kind of range and that kind of understanding, then we're missing out on a whole lot because we're letting things be ill-defined for us. And so I think that's very, very, very important that you know the difference. But that's what mentors do. Mentors will tell you, watch it. That was good, but it wasn't that good. Right? And they'll help you adjust that thing inside of you. Yeah, they will help you adjust that thing on the inside of you that says, hey, you need to get that together because that's not working. You're not doing that well. And when that happens, yes, you have to adjust. Make sure you adjust because you don't want to miss any opportunity that you may have. So, So, you need to know that if you do not have a coach, a mentor, or someone that you can submit to, that, you know, you are a potential, I think I'll say it like this. You are the bomb, but you may explode any and everywhere. Yeah, you know how folks say you the bomb. Yeah, that's good. But when you don't have a mentor or a coach, you might just explode anywhere. You are too volatile to ever really be used because you don't even know. Some places you just need to you need to kind of lay back. And they will teach you how to navigate certain rooms. You don't be the bomb every place. Some place you need to demure and just kind of read the room. There's a lot of skill to what's going on. Yeah, there's a lot of skill to what's going on. So, hey, listen to me. Listen to me now. You ready? Listen to me now. You need a mentor. Because that mentor is going to break arrogance. Oh, my goodness. And going to build confidence. And they can do that all in the same person. Yeah, all in the same person. You're a good guy. You're a good girl. Man, dude, you can do that. You're natural. But, yeah, we need to talk about how you're approaching it. Because you can have a good thing, but your approach be so terrible that no one wants to listen to you. No one wants to participate with you. No one wants to be a part of what you're doing because you're so increasingly, incessantly arrogant. Oh, my God. No one feels empowered when you're in the room. No one feels like they can be who they are when they're in the room with you. And that, ma'am, that, sir, is arrogance, destructive arrogance. Absolutely. And we need to make sure that we change that. They need to break all that down. Break all of it down. Right? We need a drumline experience. That Devin thought he was so good. Y'all seen Drumline? I love it. Drumline, Devin thought he was so good. He was coming up against the section leader. But then the band director got to his drum and says, okay, since you like this, look at me and let's move. And all of the skill and the gift that Devin had crumbled when the method of how to use it and when to use it was applied. He didn't have it. And the band director said, you know what? You need to learn how to crawl before you can walk. That if you're the only one that's good, you can't be a part of a team. That's facts. And that's what mentors do. They break down that arrogance and help build up your confidence again. Listen, this is the Culture Call with Elspin Smith right here on Praise 93.3. We got a little bit more to go. I need you to keep it right here. Don't miss it.
This is the world premiere.
And family, we've come to the end of another great, magnificent Monday right here on the Culture Call. What an interesting conversation we have had. Let me go ahead again and apologize for those of you who have been calling. And I was like, why do folks not calling me? But you were calling. I just didn't see it on my system. And so, yeah, they came in on the break. It's like, yo, why you ain't answering? I had pulled up the wrong file. Okay, hey, guess what? I'm human. I'm allowed some opportunity for error, right? Nonetheless, I got it now. So if you call me tomorrow, guess what? I'll be able to answer the phone and take your call. Yes, because there are some of you who have hit me up on the chat talking about mentorship and would I be willing to be a mentor? And we're talking about some facets and why we need mentorship. Man, all of it has been interesting. And so we're going to continue this conversation tomorrow because I've got a lot to talk about. I didn't even get to half of what I was going to say today. But nonetheless, it's been a very fruitful conversation. I think it's something that is necessary, especially in the Black community, as we talk about moving forward for our young people, for our business owners. You know, there are people that are just simply starting businesses and being entrepreneurs, and they have no mentorship. They have no connection. Mentorship is not going to a workshop. Mentorship is not going to a conference, right? No, those things are particular keys and particular tools that you can use to build your business. But mentorship is about you growing the gift and the effectiveness of what is on the inside of you so that you will gain a particular wisdom base to pass on, right? Technology is going to change and methodology is going to change. Innovations are going to come, right? And we'll all have to pivot at some point in time. And so, yeah, but a mentor helps you navigate. There it is. Helps you navigate the times in which you live in the different processes. The mentor and the coach helps you, guess what? Navigate you. Yeah, you. Yeah, that we can be complex individuals that need great levels of instruction, great levels of how do I get this done? How do I literally do this? I can't do this with the present knowledge that I have or the present person that I am. And yet there is great potential for possibilities, exponential possibilities in you. And what mentors do is say, yes, you can. Let me walk with you hand in hand. Yeah, follow me as I make you this thing that I know, this greatness that's already on the inside of you. Listen, it's been a great day, and I pray that you have enjoyed the Culture Call. Thank you. Thank you so much for tuning in. Check me out tomorrow. It's going to be good, y'all. It's going to be good. Don't miss it. Listen, as my grandmama and my mama would say at the end of every phone call, I love you a bushel. I love you a peck. And I love you a hug around the neck. This is the Culture Call with L. Spencer Smith right here on Praise 93.3. Keep it right here and enjoy the rest of your day. Peace.